My name is Josephine Sangao. I'm in Form 3D. I come from the Maasai tribe. And for the side of my family, my father have 8 wives and my mother is the first wife. And for the side of my mother, we are 7 children, and I'm the firstborn. And I'm only the only girl who sent to school. And here I'm not here because of the willing of my dad, because he is forced to send me to school. Because as you know that in Maasai tribe, they are not will to send girls to the school because they say they go there and get pregnant, and they saw that girls are not able to learn because they say in Maasai we are so discriminated and we are not given even chance to give out our views or to make decision in the tribe. So
boys and girls or girls?
Only girls. Only boys are given a chance. And my other relatives, my sisters are already married and the other brothers already get their families. And also in my future I like to be an accountant, and I don't know how to achieve that goals because my father is not able to give me an opportunity to continue. So I try to find the alternatives of escaping from home, and I try to find alternatives in order to be educated, and I want to help them in my future. So I will pray so much to my God in order to help me in order to achieve my goals.
Yeah.
Within the Maasai society, there is polygamist. That's one of polygamist. One example, there is a certain man who married 200 wives, and he had a lot of cattle. Means he can manage materially that society, but not psychologically.
Yeah.
Because know that if you have things to control the family, yes, you can control it because you are rich. But sometimes there are some of the children you like or you prefer to help them more than the others, and that is what really happens in polygamy societies. The father may like or may prefer to send to school those children of the first wife and leave others. And he may love others and hate others.
And what do the girls think about this? How many husbands would you like?
I like to have a single husband, and also I like to be a single wife for my husband, because you know nowadays life is too tough. If you you get children, they must be educated, and also they want to get all basic needs. And I think I will not be able to have a big family, and I will not be able to provide all basic needs for them because it is too difficult. And also I think to have many wives, according to the Bible, it is not the will of God to have many wives or to have more than one husband. Somebody who I'm able to explain about my problems is my mother. For the side of my dad, it is so difficult to sit with my daddy, to talk with him and explain to him I have some problems, because in our tribe girls are not allowed to go and sit like this with her father and talk to her father. So you must communicate with your mom. If she is able to help you, she can help you. And also she is not able to go and talk and told your father that maybe Josephine has this problem. It is too difficult. So if your mother is able to help you, she can help you. And if she is not able to help you, you will suffer with your problem. The chairperson of the village was forced my parents to send me to the school, and that's why I'm here in school. My parents are not willing to send me to the school. They want me to be married, and they already prepared a husband for me.
As time goes, you know that when we are being provided education, this education will change our lives. Then because of these changes in our lives which are occurring, even I, when I get married to someone, that's the time now, my children, I will treat them as how and small education that I have get. That means that according to the knowledge that I have get, a bit knowledge that I have get, a small knowledge that I have get, I have to get to sit in a way that I come close to them.
If I learn very well and get a very good work or job, then I shall have more than even 6 children. But to have 6 children, according to my economy, if it will be high, I'll use the rest of my money to help those disabled people like the street children, orphans, and the others who have been separate from their parents, and those with different problems. Then I shall help them as my children.
Why 6? Why not 3 children? Why do you want 6 instead of 3 or 2? Then you have even more money for the disabled children.
It is written that God have sent us in this world in order to fill it with new individuals of our kind. If that is the case, if there is enough area for them to cover, then they have to do that because it is a command.
But a girl can make sure she will not get children. So you can want 6, but if she says no,
How do you solve that problem?
how do you solve the problem?
Okay. As a father, husband, in the family, I have power to say something. When I say that I need 6, then she have to respect me and respond positively and not otherwise.
And now what do the girls think of that?
For my side, you know, there is family planning. So you must sit with your husband and you must listen what he say. But if he is not agree to have only 2 children, I will be not able to have 6 children because it will make me to be old. There is no need of sitting together and plan. If we want to command your wife and told her that we must have 4 children, you must sit with her and you must listen what she say. After that, you must listen even her reasons. Maybe she have reason to say that, and also you have reason to say that I want to have 6 or 4 children. So if you will see his reasons are good, you may agree to have maybe 6 children. But if you say that the father is the head of the family, there is no need to sit together and be talking about maybe family planning.
Na ni kitu gani ambacho pengine hungependa Rukia katika mwanao au familia yako ikose?
Ni kitu gani ambacho
Hungependa kisikosekane?
kitu gani? Yaani kupendana, kuwa karibu na watoto.
Nani haswa angependekana awe karibu na watoto?
Sote kwa sababu tutakuwa wazazi. Mimi na
wewe na huyo mumeo. Watakana muwe pamoja na watoto. Na ni kitu gani ambacho pengine huku kipenda katika hali ya ulezi? Kitu gani ambacho huku kipenda?
Kukosana, yani kwa wazazi. Yani kukosana pia saa nyingine wako affect watoto.
Affect vipi?
yani pia ile ukiangalia, yani sasa ile saa zote watu kwenye nyumba wateta, yani watoto wasikitika, pia si vizuri.
Kama wewe mzazi Rukia, ungefanyaje?
Mimi
Watu kawe kama wateta, tuchukulie wewe ndio yule mzazi ambaye ateta, ungefanya, yani ungependelea iwe hivyo au ungefanyaje ili mambo yawe sawa kabisa?
Ningemweleza tu wewe bwana kinini, yani ningemfuatilia tu kiutaratibu ili yani ama tutete, lakini sauti zisifike kule kwa watoto wakasikia vibaya. Na
kwa hivyo ungeteta chumbani.
Tungeteta chumbani,
ni mtete kando.
Mtete kando, lakini sio hadharani, kila mmoja ajue, watoto wasikie vibaya, ajue kama wazazi wangu hawapendani. Pia hiyo iwachangie. Ningependelea kumpatia freedom mtoto. Yani kama hivi akiwa na swali asisumbuke, asumbuke, aniulize, mama kuna hiki kitu fulani sijui.
Na nafasi hiyo waiona wakati huno kama mtoto, wewe waona waipata au waiona vipi?
Kwa sasa siipati.
Waona ni sababu gani ambayo inafanya waona huipati?
Kwa sababu gani? Mwenye pia yani kwa approach wale wazazi pia naona yani naona kampeni ya aibu kumwelezea yani feelings zangu vile ambavyo na feel. Sijui pia watanichukuliaje, yani sijui.
Ni kwamba hawakupatii nafasi au ni kwamba wewe mwenyewe waogopa tu?
Mimi mwenyewe naogopa.
Wewe mwenyewe waogopa. Kwa hivyo ungefanyaje ungefanyaje ili uweze kuwa katika hali ya kwamba uwe na mwanao awe na uhuru?
Yani pia kabla kunini, kama kuna masuala mengine ambayo kama sisi sahi, kuna maneno mengine watu wafundishwa shule, hasa na haya kuja kuuliza wazazi waona ni aibu. Sasa kabla ile mtoto kwenda kufundishwa shule, yani kuna maneno mengine yani utamuongelesha, yani pia ajue kama niko free kuuliza chochote.
Yani ingefanyikaje? Kama ni wewe ungefanyaje? Kama ni watoto wako ungefanyaje?
Mwanzo yani uwe rafiki sana na watoto wako. Ndo mtoto wako yani ajue kama mama ni kama mama na mama ni kama rafiki yangu.
Kwa hivyo mzazi anatakana awe kama rafiki.
Yani sometimes awe mkali sawa kama mama, lakini pia sometimes aelewe wale watoto, ajieke kama mimi pia ningekuwa katika hali hiyo, yani ile kama rafiki tu
ndio uweze kwa hivyo mzazi akiwa rafiki ndio unaweza
yani ile utakuwa free kumwelezea shida uliyokuwa nayo.
Na unaona sahihi hiyo hali hiyo haipo katika wazazi wetu au?
Haipo.
Nyote mwasema hivyo?
Haipo.
Tuchukulie sasa wewe umenyimwa ule wakati wa kufanya vile unavyotaka. Watoto wako ungewafanyaje?
Kama vile mtoto wangu vile anachopenda, mimi nitamruhusu, lakini sipendi yale mambo mabaya. Yani kama vile kama daddy mimi nataka kwenda disco, ile ndo ile
nzuri au ni mbaya?
Mbaya ile. Ile nataka kutoka, ile mambo kutoka usiku.
Ungemwambiaje sasa kama ni wa kutoka? Ungempatia ushauri wa aina gani?
Yani nitamwambia awendi palipopote. Hakuna ruhusa ya kutoka. Namwambia uko disco, kwa vile ulimwengu wa sasa umejaa wauni, watu kuchukua watoto yani fanya ugonjwa, alafu kuna ugonjwa.
Baba ugonjwa upatikana vipi huu? Mimi sitakuwa naenda disco tu, au naweza ukungua njiani.
Unaweza ukashikwa. Kuna wao au ukashikwa na ukabaka.
Sasa huyo ni wa kike ni wa kiume?
Wa kike. Alafu wa kiume nao. Utapewa wa kiume. Wa kiume pia ukamkataza. Unajua atakwambia mimi nataka kwenda disco. Kumbe ataweza enda kushikana na watu wengine ambao si watu wazuri. Sasa wanaanza kuvuta madawa kulevya, sijui nini. Unajua ule usiku kuwafanyika mambo mengi sana.
Ungetoa uamuzi gani sasa?
wa hivyo
ili aweze kukuelewa vile wewe unavyotaka na asisikie vibaya basi.
Ningemwambia tu mama, mimi hayo mambo ambayo naenda si mambo mazuri, mimi sipendi.
Mimi mwenyewe nikataa hivyo.
Sipendi. Sasa wewe ni enzi zenu ni tofauti na hizi zetu.
Sasa wewe paka upate mambo yako ndo na wewe hiyo utafanya vile unavyotaka, lakini sio hapa kwangu. Wewe ni mtoto. Sasa basi wewe ishi kivyako, hapa kwangu wewe kama utaki kunisikiliza nitamfukuza.
Na akiwa ni kijana? Kijana yeye atakana kwenda ngoma
kama asikii na babake.
Tuenda atamwambia akatafuta babake mwingine ambaye atamsikiza,
ama mchukue mpeleke pale polisi atu adabu.
Tumakafu matatu.
Hivyo ndio ungefanya kwa mtoto wako.
Kama atakunisikiza.
Kama
atakunisikiza.
Wewe unapiga unachoka.
Nampatia funzo yeye.
Would you cane your children? At this century, this generation, no.
Doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense, really. I mean, you'd be caned, and the next thing, I mean, you'd become more rebellious.
Yeah.
If anything.
Do you think you'd have been a better person if you were not caned as a child?
Yes.
Well,
I think your words carry more weight.
Yeah.
Because if someone says something to you, then if you hit me, the pain will be over, I'll forget and I'll move on. But if you come and you sit me down and you really make me feel,
understand why I shouldn't do that.
Then I won't go back and make the same mistake. My parents, when like a while back, I would never get. It was always yes or no. You know, it's don't question my judgment. Just do as I'm saying. And I don't think that flows with children, because if you're telling me don't do something, give me a reason why. If I have a reason why I'm not doing it, then I won't. If you're telling me no, so I'm thinking why. I might as well, so I can know the reason. Then I'm more inquisitive.
At some point in your lives, all of you have been away from your families, maybe in boarding school. And what would you say was your experience being away from home?
Personally, I'd love to stay with my parents. High school was like torture. For me, it was like all these rules, you can't do this, you can't do that. You feel more comfortable when mom is around, and you know, there's some, you can't, I don't know, it's like you're limited to what you can do and how you can express yourself, because you don't feel so free. And once you do that, probably you're going against the rules of the school, and it was a bit harsh. So to me, I'd prefer staying at home.
For me, it's quite different in the sense that at first I thought that when I left for boarding school, there's that tendency of feeling homesick. I used to cry a lot, missing mom here and there and stuff. So yeah, I had a lot of homesick. But when you come to think of it, in the end, it paid off greatly, because I developed a sense of responsibility a lot. I developed a way of when I get to a new environment, I can easily adapt to people, which helped me when I'm joining high school and even university. I can easily relate and everything. So I think at that stage, at a certain stage in life, you need to get away from your parents. It actually prepares you for your afterlife. There's a point whereby you have to leave your parents and live by yourself. So it's actually like a process that leads you to that afterlife. So in the end, I think it really pays off.
Would you do it with your own children?
Yeah, I would actually do that with my own children.
No. I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
Why not?
I think children need, you don't necessarily need both your parents to be there, but you need to have a balance in everything. You can't be sent away and expect your children to grow up being taught, as in you want to have a relationship with your child. So if I send my child away at like the age of 3 and they're going all through boarding school, if they come back and I don't I'll have no way to relate with my child whatsoever. If my child is at home, it doesn't matter what school I put them in, they can go to school and they can still come back home and know I have a parent or parents who are there who will listen to me. Not just like my kid then it's like I'm at work the whole day, my kid is in school for the most of the year, you come back, probably all we do is fight at home. I just don't find the balance in all of that.
So you had a good relation with your parents, you could talk about everything?
Well, get everybody's opinion on that.
Well, not really, but they're still my parents. Like now I can go to my mom and have any conversation with my mom, because she's my mom. And if I had been sent to boarding school, I would have no relationship with either of my parents. Like my dad, I can call my dad and ask him, oh dad, this and this is going on, what do you think? And then because I have younger siblings, if they see me at home, at least I think if they see how I'm working and what, they have something to look up to, not just like the little kids who you're on the same level with.
I think with the generations are changing, and a lot is really affecting teenagers and all that. There's all this partying and early drinking and early sex, and so in my opinion I wouldn't take my child to boarding school at all, because I think especially the teenage life is, I wouldn't get to know my child really well, because with all these things happening I need to know what my son is up to, my daughter is up to. So taking them to boarding school gives them an opportunity to do it away from me without me knowing, and so much trouble is bound to happen when they're away from you, as opposed to when you're there and you can actually guide them and tell them, you know what, I was there, I did it, just tone it down, or just change or something.
If your parents are there, then okay, even if it's not your parents that you're going to talk to for advice, at least if you have more people around you, you have more people to choose from on who to talk to. Even if you're going to get, okay, yes, you can get wrong advice from certain people, but if I'm in boarding school, then the people I'm getting advice from is limited. Like I'll probably go to one of my friends who's either going through the same thing or hasn't gone through the same thing and just doesn't know what they're telling me. If I'm at home, I have my parents, I have my aunts, or whatever at any time. So I have guidance, so to say.
There's some parents who are not open with their children about some sensitive issues, like for example sex, HIV, drinking, what. So this child will grow up, doesn't know anything about this because their parents don't talk about it, and they don't talk about it. So when they go to high school, they might get bad company, people start drinking. So to her, she doesn't see him or her, whatever, doesn't see anything wrong with it. So I believe like if the parent had started such values, you will start thinking by day, my dad said this and this, my mom said this and this, why should I be doing this and this?
Some things you have to enlighten your parents, as in this is what is happening, and you should, because when I was in high school, I think at Form 1 level, there was some incident of homosexuality. So when I got back home and told my dad, this is what's happening in school, he was so shocked that, as in, he was even, does it actually happen, or are you composing a story? So you actually, some things we have to actually enlighten our parents that these things do actually happen, so that they can also, as in, be on the same level as us, so that, as in the end, we can understand each other. So it's like a two-way traffic. He tells you what he knows, and you also inform him of something you think he doesn't know, and then you can actually communicate. So because you can actually not communicate on two different things, and both of you don't understand each other.
Our family was big. We were 11 in number, and now I'm the fifth.
The fifth?
Yes.
Right in the middle?
In the middle, actually.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You didn't get lost in the middle?
Well, somehow, according to my parents and my sisters, my other sisters and my brother, they say I was a bit aggressive, and therefore there's no way I could be suppressed. And
you were a bit aggressive?
Exactly. And to some of them, I was a bit too difficult to handle.
That's what they say.
Now you can imagine what that meant. It means I was thoroughly beaten at times. Yes, because of that thing. I was actually stubborn, according to them. Yes.
You agree with that?
To an extent now, today I agree with it.
Yeah.
In fact, I realized, to me, that stubbornness is a quality to be tapped at another stage. But during those days, it was being suppressed. Today, when I see that aggressiveness or stubbornness in my child, I feel this is something which needs to be nursed, not to be suppressed. We believe, as parents of today, that we don't have to listen to our children. That in itself makes them live in their own world, whereby they only talk their language. Not because they want it. It's like you've put a partition.
Put up a partition.
A partition between us and our children. We don't listen to them, majority of us. The moment you don't listen to them, it means you're actually inviting other people who will listen to them. Those other people are the peers, then anybody else who cares to listen to him. But if you could just open up the way, let him know, apart from being a parent or a father or a mother, you are also a friend. Fathers are not with their children. That in itself is a problem. So we are too much on the making money, working, and we end up neglecting our family, an African father. In my view, or in my way of looking at it today, I think it is misplaced. There's a way we've been carrying ourselves. We are always right.
Always right.
Always right. Which is very wrong. So for quite some time now, there's been that emphasis on the girl child. That leaves the boy child alone, unattended to. I think it is a high time the emphasis is also pushed to the boy child.
How is the emphasis on the girl child?
You see, every now and then the whole world is talking about the girl child in Africa. Yes. The girl child in Africa. First of all, it's removing the circumcision, the GFM. Then from there is the education. People are pushing for that, which is very good. But at the end of the day, the boy feels that, without even saying it, nobody cares for him. And we are all human beings. We feel like if you start talking there, both of you, and now I'm here, I will feel isolated. So it's the same thing that has happened to the boy child. Everybody is talking about the boy child, the girl child, girl child, girl child. What about the boy child? I think it's a high time we change. And with that change, that goes back to your question. How can the fathers change? If the boy child is also taken care of, it means the future fathers will again be different.
Why do you think men, or those men, want to have more wives?
Then it is a status thing. If you had more wives, then people respected you. But also, I think it's because those days, and happens still today in our African culture, there wasn't much of showing love and emotion and connection. And so really, between a man and a woman, it was more of an official relationship. Never had my mom tell my dad, I love you, or anything like that. Never seen them hug or hold hands or anything like that. It's assumed that they loved each other, but it was never said. They never had private times to talk, really. They'll probably quarrel a bit in the bedroom, but there wasn't much of intimacy. There wasn't a forum to bring up the emotions and to say, this is what I feel about you, this is what you did against me, let's solve it. So I think that eventually erupts in the national scene because people have acquired animosity. They're annoyed with each other, but the African thing is not talk about it, just pretend things are okay. And one day it just erupts. You can't hold it in anymore. So you just take panga or machete and just cut someone because you don't know how else to confront them. I find it's easier for my kids to confront me. I'd never ask, my parents' issues to do with sex and stuff. Now I start the conversation because I want to talk to them. So it's changing, especially in the urban areas. You find that kids are talking more with each other about issues, but also with their parents and being able to confront them. So it's changing. We're watching movies, we're doing this, so the impact of the Western world as well. We see what we want, and so we begin to talk about it, and so we begin to look at our culture and compare it with other cultures and see what we want and what we don't want. There's some things I liked about the way we grew up. One was just the community. For example, we would eat from one dish, all of us, 10 kids. Of course, there was much of competition and all of that, but that really drew us closer to each other as a one family. Of course, not the larger family because of rivalry, but just eating together, taking care of one another, that drew us together. There was strong community. At times, because we didn't have enough pairs of shoes, one would use them and then come and give the other. So that kind of sharing, community, I definitely don't like the individualistic nature of the Western world, where you could be neighbors and you never talk, you never really get real. And also what I love about our African culture is the uncles. Almost everyone in the village is your uncle, so you could talk to them. They could discipline you. You feel like there's authority around, even when your daddy is not there. Like my father died, and I got affected by that in many ways. But I knew that I could go to an uncle somewhere and ask a question. They didn't necessarily need to be my real uncle, but just a man who is respected and who my mother respected. I could go to them. I miss that in the modern world.
There is a conflict between parents and children on the basis of what they consider to be normal and acceptable culturally. The parents have their own ways of thinking about how children should behave, obviously derived from the way they were brought up themselves. The modern children, Kenyan children, particularly those who are living in urban areas, they are very, very well exposed. They are better off in terms of technology, computers, far much better than their parents. They have access to television. And now currently in this country we have well over 10 channels, some of them local, others international. So our children are exposed to modern ways of doing things and thinking just as much as children in the Western settings are exposed. So you can see there is potential ground for conflict because these children are living in a totally different culture, as it were, from the culture that their parents consider to be normal way of doing things. The parents want to tell children, do as I tell you, but do not ask questions. And the children, all the time when they go to school, they are told to reason. So when they are told, don't ask questions, just do what I am told, what you are told, then they will do it, but they will not see the value of what they are doing. In fact, there is a nickname for fathers in this country. It's called Boyo. Boyo. Boyo is baobab tree, and you know it is really huge. It can be 1 or 2, 3 meters across. All right, and what you do when you come across a boyo, that kind of tree, you don't negotiate with it. You avoid it. You just go around it. And I think the children invented that nickname to describe the situation that I have been describing.
We were raised with some do's and don'ts. In the current parenting, I'm looking like there are no many don'ts, and that parents are unable to use the don't word towards their children. And they leave them, at the mercy of the media. They leave them at the mercy of the peers, and they leave them at the mercy of the runaway society that has become. Africa was very strict some time ago, where everybody was responsible for each other's children, and the upbringing was not just meant to be for the immediate parents, but every parent who was a parent to every child in the neighborhood. I think as parents, we need sometimes to keep quiet and listen. We need to do a lot of listening more than talking. Sometimes I used to talk until once they are finished, I go into my room and I sit back and I say, I talked a lot. What did I hear them say?